There we go. Okay. So, recorded the first part of this already. Realized my mic was off. And now here we are. I cracked my bubbly when my mic was off. So you are not going to get that. And it's perfectly fine. Happy finals week for those of you who are in school taking finals right now. It sucks a lot. But, you know, keep on keeping on. I'm doing the video podcast again, like I said I was gonna do. I have the video thing set up. It looks, as I use it more and more, I've been streaming, because when my finals are done, I feel like I would like to play some relaxing video games. So I live stream Alex Rengers on Twitch, every once in a while, I guess. Go follow me. You might as well add to the list of things I'm asking you to follow me on. My Twitter too, at AlexRangers1. And my Instagram, AlexRangers. There. Got all that shit out of the way. I wanted to talk about last two, three, four, a bunch of weeks ago, a while ago, a fat minute ago, this happened. And, so, first of all, buttons.
Yo.
I want to use the buttons more. But, a few weeks ago, on campus, I'll get this shit. On campus, we have these, I don't know what they like to be called. I called them people yelling, and they said I should call them preachers. And then I called them a preacher, and he said, well, we're not quite preachers. And I said, don't you tell me that you're not quite preachers. You said it yourself. I said you were yelling. So, all right, man. But I guess the point is they fucking yell and preach or whatever the fuck about God and how we're all gonna fucking die. And I saw them, and I was, just gonna walk right past, but he stopped me. And I talked to him for like a little bit. It was a fat minute, honestly. Like, I was standing there in the cold, by the way. It was cold out. I was talking to him for like 30 minutes. And like what he said more or less doesn't matter. It's more how he said it. He kept telling me that he loved me, and his partner was there too. Not his like romantic partner, his religious partner. They were both there, and they were like, we love you guys, and we want you to like be good, and we don't want you to go to hell. And I was like, that is a very strange, like, this whole thing you're doing. And if you have never seen this before, I don't know how you haven't, but if you haven't, basically these guys go and they stand in very public areas where a lot of people, mostly students, because I'm on a college campus, they stand around and they just like preach the word of their whatever the fuck, and they're like, y'all are gonna go to hell if you keep sinning, so don't do those sinful things. And they just yell it for hours. It's crazy. Honestly, it's like serious dedication, these guys. And so I'm talking to them for like a half hour, and they're telling me all this stuff about how like the trees are proof of creation, which is not true. And I mean, like, it's just all this shit. And it's just, preachers. You know how they be. And they were just hitting me with it. But I told them I would talk about them on the podcast. And that was like a long time ago. And I kept forgetting about it. So that's, 4.5 minutes of fame. There you go. Whatever your names were. I'm sorry. I don't remember their names. They told me their names multiple times. I told them I had a podcast, and I don't know if they remembered that, and I don't know if they expect me to remember their name, but I sure don't. But that's okay. Ooh, a little sip off the old off the old bubbly. Yeah, so that's pretty sick nasty. Thinking. Yo, I've been doing so much baking. You know what? Rewind. I had a whole plan. Act like I didn't just say that. Okay. Yo.
Yo, let's go.
Let's go, dude. And it kind of rips. All right, that's sick. Welcome to our first segment. So I listened back. I was playing I was playing some games with my friends. Some I don't know what we were playing. Brawlhalla or some shit. I don't know. I play video games with people. You know how it be. And one of them put my podcast on, and we were listening to my podcast, and I'm very critical of myself, and they are, of course, making fun of it, because that's what you do. And it wasn't so harsh, you know, but it was happening. But what I was realizing and what they were realizing is that what I was thinking when I was listening to it was that I talk for a long time and there's no breakage. So here we are. We're doing our first segment. I want to start doing segments of things, and I didn't really think of a name for this one, to be completely honest, but we're gonna call it Reng Bakes. I don't know. That's off the top of the head. Basically, I want to take a little bit of time out of some episodes, maybe not every episode. I mean, come on. But, I mean, I only do it once a week, so maybe every episode. And talk about recipes that I've made. Specifically, baking recipes. I enjoy baking probably the most, but, you know, maybe I'll branch out. Reng cooks. Hot Reng hot. That's what we're going with. But I wanted to talk about this. I thought of this because I made a wonderful apple pie. It was absolutely gaseous, like straight up so good. And I've been watching a lot of Bon Appetit on YouTube. It's, you know, cooking YouTube channel or whatever. And I am obsessed with baking, and I wanted to make an apple pie. So I did, and it turned out amazing. And I just want to talk to you guys about it because I'm very proud of my creation. And making an apple pie is not easy. Like, crust is hard. Crust is not a simple task. Definitely took some work, and I totally almost fucked it up. So, that's pretty illin'. But I'm going to go through what I did. I was thinking of getting all the recipes up because I have it. Let's see if I could do this. Move the keys. Move the melt, the tonin. Move the bubbly. Look, it's all right there in my history. Apple pie crust. So I did a crust recipe. And then, I don't know if you could see it. Can you see it? Oh, you could see it. You could see the top of it, at least. Whoa, that does not look right. Here. Oh, here. Maybe this. And then, yeah. There you go. I don't like how that looks with the fire. I want it to be a little bit smaller. Then you can't read it. There. You know what? There you go. It's behind me. It's fine. Kind of want to move it a smidge over so we're aligned on this side if you're watching the video podcast. But this is the recipe I used. And it's not that hard. Not that hard. It's hard to get really good, but it's not hard to put together, like most cooking. And I didn't use apple cider vinegar. I used a splash of what's it called? Lemon juice. So you can substitute lemon juice for apple cider vinegar. That is just something that I do pretty frequently if I don't have a specific vinegar or like vinegar at all. I just toss that in because it's all acid. But it's pretty simple. 2¼ cups of flour, some sugar, salt, and a fat amount of butter. And I replaced butter with coconut oil, which is one of my favorite cooking pieces of advice. I love coconut oil because it's way cheaper. Like, butter is honestly expensive as shit, but coconut oil is super cheap. And I think it makes it taste way better. And it clumps really well. And what you want in one of these recipes, you can kind of see here on the video podcast. This is a bowl of the flour, and you're supposed to crush the butter up, and that's why you get these lumps. You want the lumps, so then when you form your dough, you stick it in the fridge, let it sit for a bit, and when you take it out and you cut it up, stack it on top of each other, roll it out, stack it again, roll it out, and then bake it, then the butter and the layering that you did by stacking it and rolling it, it creates air pockets. Or not, it's not air, it's gases, because evaporation and boiling and heat and wonderfulness and butter. And the butter or the coconut oil makes it flaky with all the pockets of gashes. Gashes. No thanks, I don't want your email. Honestly, yeah, I do. Don't bring shit up. Cool. Yeah, so that was pretty sick. And then for we used a plethora of recipes. I was cooking and my sister was there and my friend Lauren was there. And by the way, shout out to Lauren. She's been saucing coffee all week and it's been great. So thank you very much. But yeah. What was I talking about? Fucking the filling. I like this picture. I'll keep this picture up so it looks nice on the podcast. We used like a bunch of different recipes, so I just kind of threw it all together. I got some apples and some pears, and I peeled them, which is annoying, but I did it because I think it gives a way better mouthfeel in the pie and like easier to use a fork or whatever you're using. And so I peeled them, put them in a bowl, lemon juice, keep it from browning, and then toss it together with some cinnamon. I did some cinnamon, some brown sugar. I used mainly brown sugar. I didn't use much white sugar at all because I think brown sugar caramelizes a lot nicer. I think it gives it a lot better of a look and a taste. But I think I could have used some white sugar just to keep it from crusting on top, which it did a little bit, but that's fine. And then I threw in some not allspice, but like a pumpkin pie spice, just because I wanted the cinnamon mainly, but then also like nutmeg and stuff, and we didn't have all the spices, but we did have that, so I threw that in. And then there was one more thing. Oh yeah, I put in some flour, some water, and then some just a little bit of water, pretty like eighth cup of flour or something like that. I don't know. I didn't really measure it. I didn't do a ton of measuring. I kind of eyeball a lot of shit. I measured the flour for the dough with here, can we get this off screen for a second? Boom. Just to give you this a little nicer. What's it called? I put some flour in it. I eyeballed it. And then I put some cornstarch in it, and it gave it like a super thick, because that's what cornstarch does. It thickens shit up, and it took all the liquids, and it thickened it and made it real nice and like smooth and heavy, and fucking it helps keep the shape after you bake it. So when you cut your apple pie, all the apples don't fall out. And so when you cut it, you can get a nice slice of apple pie with a point. An apple pie with a point is hard to get. And then I didn't do any top layer because when I was transferring the dough, I rolled it out, right? And you roll it out. I use you could do it on your counter, but you flour, whatever the fuck, roll it, and then I rolled it back onto the rolling pin to do a cool transfer onto the pie plate. And it totally, I mean, it kind of worked. I got it on there, but I totally dropped like a bunch of pie dough. It's fine.
Let's go.
What's this one do? I forgot. Oh, yes, my van. Dude, some of you guys get that and most of you don't. And I think that's kind of funny, but that's me and I'm saying it. So just, it's fine. But yeah, that was the segment. I'll start thinking of new ones too. I want to do a bunch of different ones. I want it to be different a bunch of the time, like maybe like this week, a different one next week. You get it. I don't gotta explain the whole thing. And then I can't decide, do I do the outro or do I not? But I'm gonna do it here and listen back, see what I like. And I hope you like it too. Oh, that's a terrible cutoff, to be honest. I might not. It was fine when I came in, but it's not good for the end of a segment, especially because the episode is not over. But, I did the thing. I think there's a lot to say about giving yourself a goal and actually following it through, even if it doesn't go as planned. Like, that could definitely have gone a lot smoother, but whatever. Dude, another thing about... Okay, so obviously obsessed with baking recently. It's just a thing. But I have noticed something about baking bloggers. So whenever you need a recipe, you Google it, of course, and you get all the baking bloggers who have made their own recipes and are posting it online, trying to get, all the shits. And every time, I shouldn't say every time, but every time sort of thing, like every goddamn time I open one of these pages, you look and you're trying to find this recipe and you gotta scroll through like 8 pages of dialogue where they're like, this is where I found the recipe. My grandmother fucking walked 800 miles across Russia in the dead of winter to give me this recipe, and she brought me the ingredients in a wicker basket covered in a sheepskin. Like, it's always the wackest stuff. It doesn't make any sense to me. And give me the recipe, right? Like, I came here for chocolate chip cookies, and now I'm getting the fucking, like, a trilogy of your life and your like family history because you like these chocolate chip cookies and you use eggs instead of baking soda. I don't know. And usually it doesn't make sense. You're like, whatever. And you read the recipe and you have to change everything because people online don't know how to cook always. And I feel like that heavily contributes to people going, I don't know how to cook, because you read a recipe and it says do this, this, and that. And knowing how to cook, because my parents cook a lot and they have taught me and my siblings very well, I read things in a recipe that like don't make any sense and I go, that doesn't make any sense. But then anyone else could go online, look at the same recipe and do it exactly how the recipe says, and sometimes it gets fucked because it's just someone posting a blog and not a real book. So I highly suggest, if you are getting into baking, get a cookbook, like a fat cookbook. I wish I had a fat cookbook, like a big one with tons of recipes from all over the world, or like a million different types and ways and styles of cooking, different recipes. You get it. Variety is the spice of life. Some t-shirt shit. So I've had a lot of political debates over the past few days, and I don't like to get political here on the podcast.
Let's go.
Because it's boring. It's boring. If you start getting political with me, it's usually boring. I don't know. There are some people I can't talk politics with because they're not so fucking like set in their ways about it, and like that's what bores me when it's like there's no real conversation. I actually love having like good, strong political conversation where both sides are conversing and discussing instead of one side being like, I'm this way and nothing's gonna change. I think that's boring because it is. But I was talking to someone who was boring, and they were telling me that fucking Trump wasn't that bad. You know, that's what it always is when they're boring, because yeah, I'm not getting into it. And I'm not, see, this is like not a real argument, right? But I just think that we should have a president who's not like a spaz in the news. Like, it just looks bad. Come on. I was proud to be an American when Obama was president, and now it's like, fuck, like, you don't want to be an American. Everyone's the filthy American now because of Trump. Honestly, like, dead ass. It's just how it be. But you know, whatever the fuck. What am I, running for office? Oh my god, now that I can show you shit on Google and not Google. I hate... Okay. Now that I can show you shit on Google, I can show you what I was talking about with the Bluetooth thing. Earpiece. Earpiece. And I saw someone walking around with it today. Oh, this is so het, dude. The bone conduction. It's $7 though, which is dope. But these things are bogus. I can't stand it. Like, get that shit out. Get headphones. But I saw a kid today in the dining center. Went in there only for coffee. Whatever. And I saw him walking around, and he has the earpiece in. And so immediately I start looking, right? So I'm looking, and he's got these... He's wearing all new shit, is what I'm trying to say. He went full Black Friday. And I can tell. I've done it before, and you have too, where you buy all the new shit and you wear it all at once. And you obviously went Black Friday shopping. I think it's a bad look. But he had the earpiece in, strutting. And he had these fuzzy pajamas. New pajamas are the shit, though. But he was, like, walking around in them, which is like, alright, dude, come on. Alright, man. And then he had this, like, he had a brand new sweater, but it was like a pajama sweater. And it kind of looked fucking dapper as fuck, if I'm being real. It looked pretty cool. And I would probably walk around in it. In high school, I was the pajama kid, dude. I walked around in pajamas daily. Not all of high school, just senior year. Senior year started, and I was iconic in the school band, deadass, story time. I was so iconic, dude. I would walk around just straight up full pajamas. It's like now when I walk around with this thing, but it was like flowy pajama pants and a flannel or a sweater, or like a big ass sweater. And my teachers were always like, "You look so comfortable." And I was like, "I fucking am," but guess what I'm not doing? Paying attention. And it was fine. It was fine. But that guy totally went Black Friday shopping, and that's hat. It's hat. What is that? What is that? I need a new thing for that. What is, like, it's so bogus, dude. That's it. It's not het, it's bogus. Because, like, Black Friday is cheating, trying to look like you have money, right? Because you go in there, you buy shit you don't need, and you don't have the money for it, and that's why you're buying it on Black Friday. Don't cheat. Just be real. Don't buy the shit that you can't afford. Pay your rent and then buy the earpiece, but only pay rent. I don't know. What am I even... Whatever. That's all I wanted to talk about. And, you know, what I was saying, do everything. Did I even finish saying that? I don't know. Do everything that you want to do in the day, or that you set out to do in the day. Goal setting, you know, every day. Have something you want to accomplish. I accomplished talking about those guys, the preacher dudes, the preacher yellers, and whatever, the baking thing. Yeah, so I did it all, guys. I did it, and you should too. But Thanks for listening. Which button is it? Nailed it. Thanks for listening. Have a happy finals week. If you're in finals, have a happy rest of your week. If you're listening to this at any other time of the year. Yeah. Yeah. Bye, y'all.